All right. The Board of Direct Entry Midwifery meeting is convening at 8:07 a.m. on October 23rd, 2025. This meeting is being held in person and through MS Teams video conference and is being recorded. The recording will be posted to the internet for public viewing. I will now call roll. Meredith Mantz, here. Lennon Clark.
Here.
Rebecca Fisher.
Here.
Meredith Klein.
Here.
Christine Morales.
Here.
Lynette Pettibone. Misha Ronick.
Here.
All right. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to not use the chat feature during our meetings. The Health Licensing Office asks that individuals attending through MS Teams keep their phones muted and cameras off during the entire meeting or until they are given an opportunity to comment during the public and interested parties' feedback period, if indicated on the agenda. Public comment is limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this board has statutory authority to regulate. Public members wishing to speak, please sign in on the roster sheet available in the room or email Josh Page at josh.page@oha.oregon.gov and provide your first and last name. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business. All right, so that moves us to number 2, which is items for board action. So first we need to approve the agenda. Would anybody like to make a motion or have any changes?
I move we approve the agenda. Fisher, this Becky.
Great, do we have a second?
This is Misha Ronick.
I feel I didn't actually hear it because they both, sorry.
I second. Misha
Thank
Ronick.
you. Awesome. A motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mantz. Aye. Lennon Clark.
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher.
Aye.
Meredith Klein.
Aye.
Christy Morales.
Aye.
Misha Ronick.
Aye.
Great. The agenda has been approved. So now I believe we need to look at the 2026 meeting dates, which are in your board materials on the page after the agenda. Does anyone have any changes? Do we need to make an action on approving these?
Yes.
Can you, when were those sent? Because my agenda doesn't, it just has like an agenda and no dates afterwards. Was there a second
here.
email?
There should be an email from Josh that has like the full agenda. It's a 32-page document that has
Okay.
an agenda and all of the items for board action. Let me look at the date really quick.
I can email it to you again, Christine.
Oh, I found it. Sorry. I think I opened the, never mind. I've got it. Thanks.
No worries. They're kind of confusing. We have lots of papers. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, changes, concerns? And if not, would anybody like to approve the dates?
All right. This is Christine. I move that we approve the dates for the meeting next year.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
This is Lennon Clark. I second.
I have a motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mantz, aye. Lennon Clark,
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher,
Aye.
Meredith Mantz, Meredith Klein.
Hi.
Sorry, brain, not enough caffeine yet. Christy Morales,
Aye.
Lynette Pettibone, she's still here. Misha Ronick.
Aye.
All right, those dates have been approved. So that takes us to the next thing, which is 2026 chairperson. And what we would like to do. I believe that my term is over at the end of June of next year. Just like the rest of us, I'm happy to keep serving until we get it replaced, but I know we've got a couple spots that are going to be coming open in the very near future. So I also think we should start recruiting everyone you know, midwives, and those spots are all CPM spots, LDM spots.
Chair, this is Bob. If you would like, I can just run down the list real quick, what everybody's standings are within the board. That would help.
Would that be helpful to everyone?
Sure.
Okay. So like Meredith said, she's in a second full term and it expires June 30th, 26 and cannot reappoint. Lynette Pettibone is also in a second full term. It expires 2/13 of 26, cannot reappoint. Meredith Klein expired, is in a full term, second full term and continuing on, and it expired on June 30th, 2025, cannot reappoint, and fortunately she's serving until replaced. Lenny Clark is in a first full term. It expires 2/15/27, can reappoint. Christine Morales, second full term. It expires 2/28/26, cannot reappoint. Misha Ronick is in a first full term. It expires 2/15/27, can reappoint. And Rebecca Fisher, public member, first full term, expires 6/4/27 and can reappoint.
Thank you. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna have a pretty big CPM turnover, like for the LDMs on the board. I know we're still trying to. Do we have any applications pending for our newest LDM member, since Meredith is graciously staying on at the moment?
I thought there was somebody.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm just,
know
like,
that there's a
waiting.
midwife, right? Oh, sorry, Meredith. I was gonna say that the one that I know had applied and said she was approved. She said she missed the confirmation hearing because she was sick, so she has to wait for the next one. And I don't know if that is really just in the fall and the spring. But she's under the impression that she's just waiting to be confirmed, and that's Lori Headland.
I just asked Chrissy to join the meeting real quick.
Should be February, will be the next Senate confirmation.
And seeing if Chrissy can help us out if there's anybody pending. Oh, she's unavailable. She's in the training.
I think she does have somebody to replace Meredith Klein. I don't know who it is, but she did tell me that. This is Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
Sounds like we potentially have one in the pipeline and we'll be needing 2 more. So for everyone, tell your CPM friends that might be interested in joining the board. Since we've got some big turnover coming and are in the middle of a lot of work. It sounds like to kind of move things along, the next thing we just need to do is approve a chair. So I think we can approve anyone who is still on the board.
Chair, this is Bob. Hey, Chrissy just joined us real quick. Thank you. They're wanting to know if we have any.
Yeah, can I see that list of
Did I hear, this is Misha, did I hear right? We also need a CNM
okay,
Right.
so
next year, not just LDMs, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's, I haven't seen if that's posted, like, to recruit it or not.
Chair, board, this is Bob again. Chrissy just informed me that Meredith Klein's replacement should be appointed end of November.
End of November, early December is what we're looking at for time frame.
Awesome. And that's the only person we have pending that's applied for board right now, right? Okay.
Yes.
Great. So it
Wow,
sounds
so
like
this is my last meeting.
that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So she said that she has 2 applicants, but she definitely could use some more.
Okay.
And I'm fine to stay on until it gets replaced, and I'll try to see if I can find anybody that wants to apply to.
And that is incredibly helpful. I will also start asking around and see what we can find for both the CNM and CPMs. So that leads us back to the original question, is what would we like to do about 2026 chairperson?
Don't we need to nominate? Do we need to officially nominate Lennon to be our new chair?
I think I'd like to just know, like, what does it involve? That's what my question was going to be. Like, I know I see what you do, Meredith Nance, on the meetings. Is it just basically this, reading the script?
Mostly this is reading the script and the meetings, like kind of moving the meetings along. And then when the board or when HLO has like a agreement or an order or anything like that that's ready to go out, then I review it to make sure that the language aligns with what the board wanted. Most of that for me has been like changing kind of the birth language, like making sure that the midwifery parts of it are really accurate and align with the conversation that the board had. So it's some editing. And then when they're ready for final orders, then I run down to the office, which is in Salem, and get it signed so that they can go out because they do need a physical signature. That's it.
This is Sammy. You also have to take random phone calls from me and text messages
That's true, but those are pleasant and they're
with updates and like, what do you want to do about this or that? So yeah, I
a few questions
frequently,
here and there.
yeah, call. So
Can I move that we nominate Lennon Clark?
Jared, did you hear that?
Or is that
Yeah.
all?
And Lyndon, how do you feel about it?
I suppose I can do it. I mean, why not?
We're not gonna leave you hanging. We'll coach
Yeah,
you.
it's fine.
Go along.
And I'm in the area, so it's easy for me to go in and sign papers, so that's fine.
Excellent. So we have a nomination for Lennon. Can we get a second, please?
This is Misha Ronick. I second.
Great. A motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mance, aye. Lennon Clark,
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher,
I-
Meredith Klein,
Aye.
Christy Morales,
Aye.
Misha Ronick.
Aye.
Okay. All right, then we are all set. So we have a chairperson for 2026. Thank you, Lennon. And I believe that is it for board action on that first agenda item. So that takes us to number 3, which are the reports. So I believe HLO, it is your turn.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair and members of the board. The first report that I do have is board member standing. We just covered that in this last section, but again, I need to ask everybody to follow up on your annual and optional classes that you're required to take: overview of board and commissions, information security, preventing discrimination and harassment, and government ethics owner overview of ethics law. Next item are the reports. So we are looking at licenses issued. And in Q1 of 2026, we've issued 3. And licenses renewed, Q1 of 2026, we had 17 online renewals, 8 by paper, and in Q2 so far, we've had 3. And now those were online. Licenses by age and gender. You see that 42 to 49-year-olds identifying as female. After that, by a few of the 34 to 41-year-olds. Licenses by county. This is an old, not old as far as time goes when this report was put together, but we've been showing this for quite a while. And Multnomah County has 22. Coming in second would be Washington County and these are the residences. This is not necessarily where individuals work. Licensing trends, average of about 104, almost 105. So we're waiting for one more to come online to get a license to make it a solid 105. Membership. Next slide are the financials. And currently the beginning balance of the biennium was 577,901 in the rears. Revenues of about 14,050, expenditures of 1,832, net operations of 12,218 with an ending cash balance in the negative of 565,683. Any questions for me?
I have a quick question. Why, why is the expenditure so much more for fiscal year 2025? Was that just from an investigation cost?
So we're in the second quarter only. So we're 3 or 4 months to this. It'll change. Oh, and I'll point out that this report was run towards the end of September 24, 2025 is when this report was run.
What was your question though, Lennon? Or sorry, this is Misha. Yeah, I had the same question for fiscal year 2025 compared to the prior years, or like
Right.
we were more than twice budget for.
Right.
Yeah, so we're in the second quarter.
Maybe I'm using the wrong language.
So yeah.
For the year prior, it looks like expenditures were 84,912. And then for 2025, it was 206,000 plus.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, let me look at the paper for him. Let me have the wrong one up on my computer here. Sorry. Oh,
And then kind of related to that high expenditures that we have, I'm just curious, like, we're obviously very in the negative. Does that just continue going? Like, is there any point at which like our board's at risk of not being soluble?
Well, you've been there for a number of years.
Yeah.
We just continue to move on, and we have worked on trying to fix this, but I'm reluctant to really say anything until things actually happen. But with that reluctancy, I will let you know that looks like the health authority has put in to pay about approximately $250,000 of this, but that's not reflected yet. So, it'll cut it in half, but we'll have to work on other options to bring it completely out of the negative.
Bob, this is Sammy. There does appear to be something not right in expenditures 2025. Something's happening there. That's incorrect.
Okay. As chair and members, if you would like, I can use the calculator while Trampus is giving his report and come back to you if I can figure out what the actual expenditure is. I apologize for the snafu.
Sure, thank you. All right, so while he is working on that, then I think Trampus can take it away.
Hi. So it sounds like moving on to the regulatory report for a minute, and then maybe we'll get some explanation on that number. So what we've got is the regulatory report. This is the on the left-hand side, we've got open cases and closed case status. You can see we've got 3 biennium on that. 1 case is hanging on. Actually, I believe that case is a victim of the open versus closed, as we've all kind of talked about. Open is pretty self-explanatory, except for when you have to cross a line between open and closed. Open means that we're still waiting to like send something out or do something, and I believe that this case has been investigated, actually reviewed for the board. A decision was made. It's just waiting for a notice to go out, which is where we hit the hard line. click over button to closed. That's just where we've kind of chosen as an agency to do that. So, but you can see that but it kind of gives us an opportunity to be able to see a couple of biennium back in the numbers. So in the 2023 biennium, we received 35 total. And then in the 2025 biennium, we received 39 cases total. 19 of those are still open, but I think we have several that are pending board review or pending some other status. So that number actually is a little lower than that. And the 2027 biennium, which we're currently in, that started a couple of months ago on July 1st, 2025. So we're a couple of months in. We've received 5 complaints so far, and 2 of those ended up getting closed, but 3 are still currently open. So that is what we're looking at. The grand total of those 3 biennium, basically 2 years and a little change, we received 79 cases. And we have a grand total of 23 of those still in some form of open status. So now, so over by complaints by type, you can see that licensing concerns was a handful of those actually. We don't get a lot of licensing concerns, but every once in a while we do. It looks like 14 of the 79 were licensing concerns, but the vast majority is services provided. So we had 64 of those, and then that one unassigned. I kind of have a feeling maybe that's one of the brand new complaints that just didn't get clicked over or something. I don't know. I'll have to take a peek at that number and see why there's an unassigned. Complaints by type.
You know it is. Yeah.
What's that?
I think it's the one that we're still trying to figure out what to do with.
Maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Complaints by type. Complainants by type. I'm sorry. This report's a little messed up. Yeah, one of these should be telling us who is the person who, like the number of people. Usually we have a complainants by type and a complaints by type, but it looks like we've just got 2 complaints by type on this, which is a little bit of an error. I didn't catch that. So we don't have the other slide that we normally have. But does anybody have any questions about regulatory? This is of course the open, this is the section where we can talk about this kind of general numbers and things like that in public session. But does anybody have any questions? Everybody here is pretty versed in regulatory, but okay. Well, then I'm done with my regulatory report.
I also just want to point out for like
Okay.
public members or anybody, that it is a higher number of complaints over the last several years than we've had historically, which is always going to correspond to higher costs on the board. So I know that we still need to fix that 25 number, but just to put that on public record that they're directly proportional. We have more complaints, it costs more money.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And these numbers are high. I wish that I had the number from the previous biennium because it probably would have been lower. But yeah, these are pretty high numbers. We kind of, over the 17 years that I've been with the office, we see like high numbers and then they'll kind of taper off and then we'll have low numbers for a little while. And then we get for something something draws attention or something happens or we have a practice or something like that, and we end up with a handful more complaints. So yeah. All right, Bob, are you ready to
We have Lynette now. At 8:31.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi.
Give me
All right.
one minute here, please.
And I will just point out, since it's kind of a regulatory issue, we don't have any specific legal advice, so we don't have any reason to go into that particular executive session. So we can just get past that. We could go in, but we wouldn't have anything to talk about.
We will be skipping that.
So we'll be able to come in and go I guess the next thing will be the standard executive session. So, but I'll give Bob a chance to come back on.
What's that?
Public and interested parties feedback. Next spot.
So, Chair, members of the board, I don't have the exact number for you, but 206,925 in 2025 is wrong. From the previous report, expenditures were approximately 155,401. So it's probably not the correct number because it's 3.5 months prior to this report being run. However, with that said, we do have this posted on the web, and we can, Sammy, correct me if I'm wrong, we can refresh what we post on the web. And once I get a correct report, and the individual will be in today, we fix that.
Thank you.
Yes, that's correct.
I totally missed that.
Did anyone have any other questions about like the financials or the regulatory piece of it before we move back? Okay.
Chair, the next item on the agenda is public and district parties feedback.
Right. Okay. Oh, hold on. I need to find an old one. I don't have the public interested parties right now. It's not that email. Give me 1 second, and I will pull it.
Meredith, it should be on the opening close script. It's included with that.
Yeah, it's not on this one. But I will check.
If it would help, this is Bob. I'm happy to read it.
Oh, okay, got it. Nope, just found it.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, Board of Direct Entry Midwifery will hear public and interested parties' feedback. Public comment is limited to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what the board has statutory authority to regulate. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes and will not be allowed if they are disruptive to the board's conduct of its business. If you are called on to comment, HLO staff will request the public member to unmute themselves. The chairperson and HLO reserve the right to end a person's comment early and have HLO staff mute the public member if the comment does not pertain to matters listed on the meeting agenda or topics relevant to what this board has statutory authority to regulate. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment? If so, raise your hand or use the MS Teams raise hand feature and wait to be acknowledged. Do we have any public or interested parties willing to make comment or interested in making comment?
Anybody online?
I see no hands and I got no emails, so.
All
Received no
right.
emails or anything, so doesn't look like we have anything, Chair.
Great. Okay, and then we said we're skipping 5 and 6 and going straight to 7. The executive session.
Yes.
Great. All right, then that brings us to number 7. The Board of Direct Entry Midwifery will now meet an executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602F and ORS 676.595 for the purpose of considering information or records that are exempt by law from public disclosure at 8:36 a.m. on October 23rd, 2025. Representatives of the news media shall be allowed to attend the executive session. Audience members attending through MS Teams will now be moved into a separate breakout room, and audience members attending in person are asked to leave the room both for the duration of executive session. Those authorized to attend executive session, please continue to keep your phone muted and camera off. Are there any representatives of the news media on MS Teams? Recognizing there's no news media in attendance, the public will be moved into a separate breakout room for the duration of the executive session. We will return to open session before taking any final action or making any final decisions. Do we have a time estimate? This is the big one, right?
Oh, boy. I think that it could be a couple of hours at very least.
I am going to say an hour in the off chance that we need to come back for any reason. I don't want us to be stuck just sitting there
Reasonable?
waiting. I realize that that is unlikely, but Murphy's Law. All right. It is estimated that the board will return to public session at 10 a.m. Please be aware that it is possible that the board's executive session may last longer than 10 a.m. If the public has any questions about whether the board is still in executive session, then the public can contact Josh Page at josh.page@oha.oregon.gov. The Board of Direct Entry Midwifery will now exit executive session and reconvene open session at 12:39 p.m. No final decisions were made and no votes were taken in executive session. The public will be moved from the breakout room back into the meeting, and representatives of the media may once again report all board discussions and actions. That leads us to number 9 for board motions and vote. Do we have any motions?
Yes, this is Lynette Pettibone, and in case number 25-11576, 25-11584, and 25-11582, I move to open an investigation.
Do we have a second?
This is Lennon Clark. I second.
Well, motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mantz, aye. Lennon Clark,
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher,
Aye.
Meredith Klein,
Aye.
Christy Morales, Lynette Pettibone,
Aye.
and Misha Ronick is absent. If we can let the record show that Misha left at 12:01 p.m. All right, the motion passes. Do we have any additional motions?
Yes, this is Lynette Pettibone, and in case number 24-11061 and 24-11062, I move that we issue a notice of intent in each case for each respondent. Disciplinary action to include proof of attendance at community birth partnership meeting, a class on professional collaboration and interprofessional collaboration, a class on compounding risk assessment, and that they be asked to submit copies of their clinical practice guidelines for risk assessment and transfer. We assess the cost of proceedings up to $5,000. We offer an informal settlement conference, and we delegate to the chair the authority to approve the final written terms. And we assess a civil penalty of $5,000 per violation with a stay of $2,000 per violation. In each case, we state that the requirements cannot be fulfilled with actions taken to fill requirements in other cases.
A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
This is Becky Fisher, and I second.
A motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mantz, aye. Lennon Clark,
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher,
Aye.
Meredith Klein,
Aye.
Christy Morales,
Aye.
Lynette Pettibone.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Do we have additional motions?
Yes, this is Lynette Pettibone again, and I move that in case numbers 22-10585, 24-11055, 23-10805, and 23-10754, that we also add the requirement that each requirement fulfilled cannot be fulfilled with actions taken to fulfill other requirements in other cases.
Do we have a second?
This is Becky Fisher, and I second.
A motion has been made and seconded. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mantz. Aye. Sorry. Aye. Lennon Clark.
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher.
Aye.
Meredith Klein.
Aye.
Chrissy Morales.
Aye.
Lynette Pettibone.
Aye.
The motion passes. Do we have any additional motions?
Okay, one last and hopefully final motion. This is Lynette Pettibone, and in case numbers 24-10974, 24-10986, 24-11047, and 25-11311, I move that we issue a notice of intent, disciplinary action to include suspension of license for 3 years with no participation as a preceptor, retraining based on the NARM requirements with a board approved supervisor. That supervisor should not be from within the respondent's primary practice. If continuation of supervision of NARM requirements not completed within 3 years, then the suspension would be continued. We would impose a civil penalty of $5,000 per violation and stay up to $4,000 if the requirements are met. We impose the cost of the proceedings up to $5,000 and designate to the chair the authority to approve written terms and offer an informal settlement conference.
Right, a motion has been made. Do we have a second?
This is Becky Fisher and I second.
Thank you. I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mance, aye. Lennon Clark.
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher.
Aye.
Meredith Klein.
Aye.
Chrissy Morales.
Aye.
Lynette Pettibone.
Aye.
And the motion passes. All right. Do we have any additional motions? And I think I see Heather's hand up.
Yes, thank you. I may have missed it, but I'm not sure if I heard whether for all of the notices that you voted to issue today, whether you plan to impose the cost of the proceeding up to $5,000, delegate to the chair the approval of the written terms, and offer an informal settlement conference. I heard it in the last motion, but I'm not sure if I just misremembered it or didn't hear it in the first one. So I thought that unless you remember saying it, you may want to go back and just verify that you all agree to that for all of the notices that you issued today.
I believe I said it. It's in my notes. I thought I said it. But I'm happy to do whatever we need to do. Should I just make another motion to include that in each of the settlement offers or in each of the notice of intents today?
Yes, just to make sure. That'd be great.
Okay. This is Lynette Pettibone, and I move to make sure that each notice of intent approved today includes imposing the cost of proceedings up to $5,000, delegates to the chair the authority to approve the final written terms, and offer an informal settlement agreement or conference.
Do we have a second?
This is Becky Fisher and I second.
I will now call for a vote. Meredith Mance, aye. Lennon Clark.
Aye.
Rebecca Fisher.
Aye.
Meredith Klein.
Aye.
Christy Morales.
Aye.
Lynette Pettibone.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you, Heather. All right. Do we have any other motions that we did not make? Then that takes us to 11, which is other board, or 10, no changes. Do we have any other board business that we need to address?
I don't think we have any other board business that the agency of the office has. But I did want to follow up on the financial report. Bob indicated to me that they believe that the 206 number is actually correct, but if there's any changes to the financial report, they'll post it with the meeting documents. Okay.
Great, thank you. All right. Anything else?
So our next meeting is January, is that correct?
January. All right. Well, thank you everybody for a productive year. The Board of Direct Entry Midwifery meeting is adjourned at 12:48 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.